Recording in progress.
Okay, namaskar. So tonight we will be discussing about the acoustic roots, and it's quite a fascinating subject. So this article is easiest to find in Discourses on Tantra, Volume 1. So there's two of them. And it's also an Andamarga Philosophy in a Nutshell, Part 8. But Discourses on Tantra, Volume 1 is more easily available. So I can read the first paragraph. Every vibration in this universe has color and sound. Every vibration also represents a particular idea, and hence each idea has a vibrational sound and a vibrational color. Many vibrational waves are too long or too short to be perceived by human beings. We cannot hear their sounds or see their color, but they do exist. We can speak of them as causal matrices in the realm of vibrational color, and consider them as bija mantras, or acoustic roots of the ideas with which they are concerned. So this sentence is very interesting. I think I want to read it again because it's kind of okay. Every vibration in this universe has a color and a sound. Every vibration also represents a particular idea, and hence its idea has a vibrational sound and vibrational color. Many vibrational waves are too long or too short to be perceived by human beings. We cannot hear their sound or see their color, but they do exist. We can speak of them as causal matrices in the realm of vibrational color and consider them as the bija mantras, or acoustic roots of the ideas with which they are concerned. So I think this one so we know according to science also that everything has a vibration, and so vibration can be transformed into color or sound, and but many times we cannot see it with our eyes, or we cannot hear it with our ears. Like, let's say, radio frequency, we cannot hear it, but through the instruments of the radios or speakers, etc., we can actually hear it. And no, but here Baba says also every vibration also represents a particular idea, and hence its idea has a vibrational sound and vibrational color. In other words, our thoughts also have sound and color as well. And so, for example, when we do the Guru Puja, which is a practice where we offer colors to the Supreme, then we also give our thoughts a flower, and that flower has a color of our choice, and that color represents the color of that thought. But it can also have a sound, and in another place I remember that some thoughts can even have a smell to them, and some flowers, just as some flowers have smell to them. And now bija mantras, this is something which is special in the Sanskrit alphabet. And so the Sanskrit alphabet is 50 sounds. Now, those 50 sounds, of course, there are innumerable sounds in the universe. And so if we say that those 50 sounds are representing all the sounds in the universe, we can then only say that they are, well, they are maybe representing them, just like a rainbow is representing colors in our mind. But they are, of course, a lot more variegated. But the Sanskrit alphabet does have 50 sounds, and those sounds are in the chakras. And so this discourse is going through the sounds one by one and explaining the ideas behind them. The sounds which are in the chakras. And so those are the most relevant to us because we want to know more about the chakras and understand how that relates to the sounds. And there were some questions when we went through the chakra chart earlier, and so there was some, like Kaligasi asked the question, okay, why are those sounds there? Like, why did Baba put those sounds in the chakra chart? And so that's why I thought, okay, let's just go dive into it and see why Baba put those sounds there. Okay, so Anushree, you want to? There's a lot of Sanskrit here, but I think it should be okay. I'll just, so some of the words like rishabha. So when there's a r before a consonant, that r is a vowel, and so it's a risabha, like rikabha, and okay, you can go ahead and try. Now
Sure.
Sapana.
The sound is the acoustic root of creation, and thus is the controller of seven notes. Sorry, do you hear me with an echo? Because I hear myself, so I'm just.
I can mute myself then.
Okay.
I can also put on the echo cancellation.
Okay. I'll start over. The sound is the acoustic root of creation, and thus is the controller of the seven notes of Indo-Aryan music. The Surasaptaka, or seven notes in Western music, the octave, which are as follows: Sya or Kya, Sadaja, peacock. The Yajurvedic pronunciation Kadaja is also permissible, but in that case, Ka should be pronounced with the mind, concentrated on the front part of the palate and not like the second consonant of the Kavarga. Re or Rishabha, ox, the pronunciation Rikaba is also permissible, but Ka should not be pronounced like the second consonant of the Ka group. Ga, Gandhara, goat. Ma, Madhyama, deer. Pa, Pankama, cuckoo.
Panchama.
Panchama. Da, Devata, donkey.
Dhaivata.
Daivata. And Nisada, elephant. It also can be pronounced Nikada, but again, Ka is not pronounced like the second consonant of the Ka group. Should I keep going?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can complete next part.
Okay. Although it indirectly controls the seven musical notes, it chiefly controls the first note, Sadaja. This note is represented in the Surasaptaka or Sargam gamut of notes by its initial letter sia. Remember that in the vilambita prolonged technique of pronunciation of this note, the vowel sound is not employed. Rather, the samvrata lengthened pronunciation of is employed. That is, the vowel here will not be pronounced I guess, but will be pronounced somewhat like aya, as they do in northern India. More precisely, the pronunciation will be intermediate between aya and ah. If singers were to pay more attention to proper pronunciation, they would benefit.
Okay, thank you. So maybe Swasti, you can take over. I just want to finish reading this because it's kind of all one text. Yeah.
From where should I start? Although?
No,
This one, right?
the sound I is the acoustic root on Sataya.
I don't see. The sound
Here, as the sound I is the acoustic root
okay.
on the note Sataya.
As the sound is the acoustic root of the note sadaja, the letter a is the first step in the learning of music. In Occidental music, the octave do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do has evolved in a similar way. The difference between Occidental and Oriental music is that in the former, the first note sadaja or do is repeated at the end to form an octave. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do has evolved in a similar way. The difference between the difference between Occidental and Oriental music is that in the former, the first note sadaja or do is repeated at the end to form an octave. Thus, in Oriental music, we say suraptaka or musical septave, collection of 7 notes, whereas in Occidental music we say octave, collection of 8 notes. Sadashiva arranged sound in the form of the Surasaptaka, which contributed on the one hand to the acoustics of science, and on the other hand to the rhythmic phonetics of music. Hence, in the study of music, we cannot afford to forget his unique contribution. A little while ago I said that every sound has color too. Alternative words for ram, color, are varna, which also means letter, and raga. The word raga is derived from the root verb ranch plus the suffix gain and means to color something. By permutating and combining different sounds, Shiva created various ragas and arranged them in a perfect orderly sequence. In this way, he created 6 ragas and 36 raginis. This was an immense contribution to the world of music and earned him the epithet Nadatanu, embodiment of divine sound, in the Vedas. Of course, it was Maharishi Bharata who popularized these ragas and raginis amongst intellectuals. Should I continue? Or?
No, I think it's good. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go into this. So the you have do re mi fa sol la ti do in the Western music, and then in the Indian music you have sa re ga ma pa da ni, and so this sound a is the acoustic root of creation, like in the Om. So in Om you have one second, I'm just gonna yeah, so you have, so the sound A is the acoustic root of creation. So like in the sound Om, you have A, it means Om, Om. So it starts with A. And so the alphabet also starts with A. And so that's symbolic. Now when you start musical training, you also start with A. You start to, sing with the vowels. And now this acoustic root, this particular acoustic root, it controls primarily the sadaya, or the first one, the first tone. It's controller of all the tones. Yeah, so although it indirectly controls the 7 musical notes, it chiefly controls the first note, or sadaya. So so it indirectly controls all of them, but directly controls sadaya. And now I didn't really get completely the difference between aya and a, but I think I am not sure exactly where what Baba is referring to here, but for us, to understand. So you have, this is a, this sound is a, or is a. We can say a, and then you have another one which is ah, so this is like ah, like open ah, and this is ah, this is like little bit ah, like this is like if you would just use the mouth and you just like ah, you'll not you'll just keep everything relaxed, and then this one is like you open the mouth fully, you know so it's that's the difference between those two. And so in the Sanskrit alphabet, this sound is considered as the inherent sound of all the consonants. So you will have like ka, 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 ga, ga, cha, ja, 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 and etc. So they will all have that inherent sound. And in Baba, he created his own way of writing Sanskrit called Romanized Sanskrit, and so he would use this how to say, you'd put this dot over the A to indicate that it's the long A. So this is Ga or Gandhara, and so like this word is Gandhara, and so Ra is short. It's this sound here. Madhyama. And so anyway, Nisada. And so he says here that the difference between Occidental and Oriental music is that in Oriental music, you don't repeat the sadaya, or the first one, and in Occidental you repeat it. So you do do re mi fa sol ti do, so that means octave, whereas in the Shura Saptika, this word is important. So there's so many words here, so I'm just going to highlight the words which is kind of important to remember. And so one of them is this Shura Shaptaga. And so Shura means the tone or notes, and Shaptaga means 7. So Shura Shaptaga, 7 notes. And so Sargam, this is the Shura Shaptaga, is also commonly called Sargam, like Saregama.
Dada, how do you know when the S is in front of the A, if it's going to be a S or a sh sound?
Oh, okay. There's three S's. Okay, I think I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say anything wrong in this one. So what I'll do, before next study group, I will actually find on the internet, or ask some data, or find on the internet some proper way to pronounce the different three S's, because the most of the datas you cannot, like you cannot get any answer, because in Hindi or in Bangla or in the spoken language, um, there's hardly any difference. But it's only like if you go into very like scholarly Sanskrit, then you will be able to hear the proper difference between those three S's.
I see, but for the most part, in a Romanized Sanskrit, you don't worry about it. You can pronounce it either way.
Yeah, you just don't worry too much about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only if you want to, like there was one sister in England, and she's a Sanskrit scholar, and so she was singing different Sanskrit poems, I mean Sanskrit slokas, and she was doing it really, really nicely. And I think I'll find one of her videos. I mean, she has a beautiful voice, and she also has like a very crisp Sanskrit pronunciation. She studied it, and like it's the main thing, like it's the most important thing in her life, and she does it so beautifully. So rather than trying to do it incorrectly, I think I'll find one of her videos and play it for you next time.
Well, I'm just curious if you usually pronounce it how you know the words, because like with a C in front of the A, it's kind of similar, right? It can be tsa or cha
No,
or ka.
C is always cha in Sanskrit.
It's always cha.
Yeah,
Okay.
C is always cha, never ka. Like Panchama, for example. This is Panchama. There's no H, but this is Panchama. Yeah,
I see.
C is always cha. Okay, now I want to go a little bit into what is raga, so that we are not just talking about it. Or maybe all of you know what is raga. Do you all know what is raga and how it works?
Do not.
Okay, all right, so let's go a little bit into that. So raga is related to this word here, rang, or color. And so varna is also another name for color. And so raga, it means to color something. And so so what Shiva did was that he created the basic scale, sarigam padani. So like let's say basic scale in the West would be like sarigama padani, that would be like a C major. Now in the West we just have two, really, like we have sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, or you have sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, or sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da ba ma ga re sa. That's the minor. You just have the major and the minor. But in India, they have more, like in the West, in the Gregorian chant, they had something called modes. And so the modes had more than just the minor and major, but they were still quite limited. There were not so many modes. The Gregorian modes were variegated, but they were not so variegated like the ragas. Now in the ragas, some of the ragas, they skip tones. So some of them are full, and some of them are not full. So some of them have 7 tones, Some of them have 5 tones on the way up and 7 tones on the way down, and some of them, they have all kind of rules, and so you have to observe the rules, and you have to know which one you can slide into them and which one you should always sing them, without sliding. And like there's so many rules around the ragas, and so I am actually studying the ragas right now, and so I'm just going to give you some examples of some ragas, so that you understand what I'm talking about. Just 1 second. Okay, so here's what, for example, here's one raga which is called Bimbhalashi. A very beautiful raga.
So, Dada, can you pronounce again?
Excuse me?
Bimbhalashi.
Bimbhalashi, yeah. So this raga, for example, I was studying it a few months ago. So this one is so it's Sampurna. It's
Bimbhalashi.
yeah, Bimbhalashi, yeah. So this one has on the way up, it skips the dha and the re. On the way down, it takes all of the tones, and so it has a low. The third tone is lower, and the last tone is lower, and so now you have to be able to have something to go by, and so what they use traditionally is that they use something called tampura, and so the tampura gives a pitch. So, for example, so this is a C. Can you hear me? Can you hear this? Okay. So this one goes like ni. So this is sa. So this is the sa, or the tone we were talking about, sa there. Sa ni sa ga ma pa ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. So like the rule for this raga is that you kind of slide into the ni. So you go ni. This is sa ni. It's like B flat. Sa ni. So when you sing the ni, it goes ni sa ni sa ga, and the ga you also slide into it. You sing actually maga, but you sing ga ni sa ga ma pa ni sa ga ma pa ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. So on the way down, you sing all the tones, and the dha is not flat, so it's sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. So on the way down, it's just like a minor in the Western system, except you have to slide into the knee and you have to slide into the ga. And on the way up, you have to and so then the pakka is pakka is something which is like representing the raga, or very typical phrase. So that would be ni sa ma ma ga ma pa ma ga ma ga re sa. So now what you notice when we are singing this is that this raga has kind of like a color to it, and so the intonation is important, and so that's why the ragas are called, ranch, to color. They color the mind, and they also so the ragas, they are also according to the time of the day. So some of the ragas are best in the morning, and some of them are best in the nighttime. And so
Fascinating, Dada.
excuse me. Yeah, this is very interesting. So here's another one I want to sing for you, which is called Raga Desh. This raga is also evening raga, and this so this one is this one you have to skip the ga on the way up and the dha. So this one goes like, and the knee is sharp on the way up and low on the way down. So it goes like sa re ma pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga re ga sa re ma pa. You can try to sing. You can keep your mic closed, but you can try to sing it. Sa re ma pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga re ga sa. So you hear that this raga has a very different feeling than the other one. And there's one Prabhat Sangeet which is in this song, which is called, it's a difficult song actually, but I can sing the first phrase for it. It's called Amar Krishna Kothai. So this raga is also in that this song is in this raga Desh. So this song goes like Amar Krishna Kathai Bali Tara Bali Tara Bali Amar Krishna Kathai Bali Tara Bali Tara Bali Madhavi Kunji Nipani Kunji Madhavi Kunji Nipani Kunji কোথাও না হেরি তাহারে তোরা বলি so anyway, so this is the science of the ragas, and I'm not gonna do you have any questions on this?
I have a question. Why do you do some of them at night and then some of them in the morning?
They have a different feeling. So, for example, there's one raga which I'm learning now, which is called Raga Bhairavi, and so it's so strange. Like when I sing it in the morning, it has this like it has a beautiful feeling. It awakens you up, and you feel like your mind. It wakens up your mind, and you feel energized. And you try to sing it in the afternoon or evening, and you just feel like dull. You feel like it's just not suitable. And so somehow they like the human psychology changes according to the time of the day. Like the mind is different in the morning and in the evening, and so the ragas they're in a way psychological. They kind of connect to our psychology. And so some of them are, for example, for midnight, for late night. And then because late night is a special psychology. So you'll feel it, for example, if you do your meditation in the morning, and then you do your meditation in the noontime, and then in the evening and in the midnight, you will feel that the mind is different every time. Like in the morning, like you maybe feel a little bit sleepy, but you feel very kind of pure feeling. And in the noontime, sometimes you feel like there's a lot of energy, and it's kind of difficult to contain the energy. And in the evening, it's kind of generally good feeling, calm. And then at midnight can be very sometimes very blissful, or of course if you're tired, very sleepy. But if you are not so tired, it can be very blissful. And so every time of the day has a different feeling, and you feel it especially when you are singing or when you are meditating, or you kind of go inside yourself, because normally we are not in connection with ourselves. So when you connect to yourself on a deeper level, then you start to really feel the difference.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a psychological effect. Okay, so I'll just and thank you for the question. It's a good question. It's an important question. I want to just take the and then we'll leave the next for next time. So this one, so maybe Turia, you want to read this one?
Sure. I'm on the phone. I'll give it a try here. The sound is yeah, that's okay. I think I can see it here. The sound is the acoustic root of, is that Saba? Do you pronounce the R or the?
Yeah, Rishabhya.
Oh, Rishabha. Okay. The second musical note. This acoustic root directly controls Rishabha and indirectly controls Gandhara, Ga, Madhyama, Ma, Panchama, Pa, which one's this? Daivata.
Daivata, yeah.
Daivata. Excuse me. Da and Rishada. Ni. In the Vedas, other than the Rig Veda, we usually come across Komala, soft, Ni, and Sadharana, ordinary Ni. In the older portions of the Rig Veda, Kadi, hard or high-pitched Ni was used. It could be uttered with both sides of the uvula. The 7 Vedic and Tantric notes, the 7 Vedic meters and 2 Bhavatmaka Svara, spiritual sounds, constitute the 16 prominent sounds which in Indo-Aryan phonetics are known as Sodasha Davatkala, the 16 sounds of Brahmavidya.
Sodasha Dhvanikala. Dhvani.
Sodasha Davinikala.
No, Dhvani.
Dhvanikala.
Kala. Yeah.
Dhvanikala, the 16 sounds of Brahmavidya, intuitional science, and Gandhava Vidya, the science of music. These musical notes were used in music and incantation in different combinations according to the waxing and waning of the moon and according to the time of day or night. Accordingly, a specific period of the month and time of day was fixed for the performance of each raga and ragini.
Right. So you see, there was not only date, the day, the time of the day, but also specific period of the month as well. So some ragas are maybe for full moon, for example, or for new moon, and so this also has a influence on our psychology as well. Like myself, we, the Dadas and Didis, we do fasting 4 times a month, on full moon, new moon, and 3 days before full moon and new moon, and I can really feel the difference in my mood and in my, I can feel that difference quite strongly. The meditation is different, and the mind is different. So, okay, so this A controls Rishabha, or the second musical note, and indirectly the other ones. Okay, so this is a lot to go through, and I will see if we go through all of them or if we select. I think we can just go through all of them. And some of the sounds are very interesting. Like these 2 sounds, Ri and Ri. Some of the grammaticians, they wanted to just skip those, but Baba explains that they are very important sounds. They're all related to the Ritis, so we cannot skip any of them. Okay, so do you have any questions?
What's the difference between raga and raginis?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's like a classification model, and then later on there were many other classification models introduced, and I that's another thing I can research on that actually, and I should be able to give a.
But then raga, it's sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, or it's song?
No, like I said, raga is like, for example, I gave you the example of this sa re ma pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga re ga ni sa. So this is raga dish. So raga is like this, and then you can compose songs based on this raga. For example, Amar Krishna Katai Bali Tara. So raga is like what you would call the mode, or the melodic framework that you create, and then there are certain rules associated with that. It's not like in the West where you can just go anywhere. Like this raga, there's a certain rules how you you cannot go to ga on the way up. You have to go to the ga on the way down. So you cannot you have to sing sa re ma pa. You cannot sing the ga on the way up. You can sing sa re ma ga re ga ni sa. That's okay, but you cannot. So raga, there are some ragas. A lot of rules are related to them.
I see. It's more clearly now. I have some ideas now of that. Thank you, Dada.
Okay, now I'm just going to stop the recording.